Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Hawaiian TV, specifically Cubase for composers. And today I'm going to tell you about Cubase's interface. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to start with the toolbar, which is up here. And so you have basically three of these bars, 1, 2, and 1 down here. Okay, let's start with the upper toolbar here, and you have these buttons here, and these first two are quite useful. It's called deactivate all mute states and deactivate all solo states, and they are used on situations where, for example, you have multiple tracks. So for example, I want to mute these and I don't want to manually go through each one and turn off the mute. And I can just click on this mute here, and then it's gonna deactivate all mutes. And same goes with the solo, if you try it with the solo. And these are for automation, which I will tell you later. I mean, in general, if I skip something, we'll go back to it later when the time comes. This is also for automation. And this is actually useful for now in the beginning. This is a auto scroll setting. So let me zoom in a tiny bit here. Alrighty. And first I'm gonna turn off auto scroll. I'm gonna press play. Alright, I'm gonna go here maybe. Okay, auto scroll is off and my transport is just going and going, right? And if I turn it on now, you see it suddenly just popped into the new area where the music is and the transport bar is. And if I just go anywhere else, it's just going to do the same. So if it goes here, at the end, it just pops, okay? And if you click on this, you have two options. Page scroll is the first one, and you have stationary cursor here. And I'm going to click on it to see what's going to happen. This is actually pretty cool. If you play, you see the line of your playback. It's still being kept in the middle, but behind it the music is flowing. It's pretty nice if you wanted to have in one place without having it to go page by page. All right, I'm gonna pause now, and this is where you have tools for adding notes, drawing notes, glue for attaching two different events. And if you ask what an event is, these are called events. You have audio events, you have MIDI events, you have automation events, different stuff. And for example, you have the zoom thing here. I just click and then it's going to zoom, as you see. And now I'm going to go back to my object selection again. All right, and this one is for coloring your events. So basically it works for you if you just select some stuff. For example, I'm going to select these guys and then click. And as you can see, the color is changing. All right. And next to that, this is a snap to zero crossing, which is for later, and quantize and snapping, which also I will explain later, and all of these tools. And this is your first toolbar here. And just for you to know, you have an undo and redo here. So you can just click on these other than using Control Z or Control Shift Z here. And on your right side, you have the controls for showing or hiding the zones. So you can see I can enable or disable the zones, which actually I'm going to cover those in this video. And now we're going to come back down here. This one I already explained you in the video before, but just in case, I'm going to say it again. This is the status line in Cubase. So it's basically showing you a whole view of what's happening, basically this status of your Cubase. So it's saying now there's no audio input connected, there's no audio output connected, the control room is connected, that's why we could hear the sound, and max recording time is now 58 hours and 25 minutes because it's estimating the space on my hard drive. Record time, record format, it's 48 kilohertz, 24 bits project frame rate, and project pan law, which is not really necessary now to go to. All right, and now let's talk about these other zones here, okay? So let's see, we have any of these tracks that you select, right? You see it's changing, and I told you if you didn't have these guys on the left, you can just click on these buttons. And now look, each of these things that you click, each of these tracks, you get a channel zone here. So this is your track, okay? Imagine a mixer, a hardware mixer, an analog mixer. This is the same as that. And you can adjust the volume individually of each one, right? As you can see, if I just lower this one, you can see if I change it, it's gonna change as well. And then you have also EQ parameters here, so you can change the EQ per track. And if I take the mouse away, it's gonna go. So click, it opens, mouse goes away, it goes. This is where we can add our effects. For example, if you want to do a delay or a chorus or whatever, stuff like that. And you have the mute state and the solo state and a volume knob here. And so this is for the channel. And you can also change the name of the track. So for example, if I say Oyun, and you can see it changed also here, here, and here. But now let's talk about this guy here. This is basically an inspector, so it's gonna give more information about your track. It's like an extension to whatever you already have. And you can basically do everything that you do here, also here. So for example, I can just raise and lower the volume here. You have the panning here, right? And you have the MIDI inputs and MIDI information here, and so on and so on, okay? And then we have a visibility option here. And this is useful if you have quite a complex, so for example, you have, you're orchestrating or you are having a big project, but you don't want to focus on certain things. And all you can do is just you click and you just remove them. And this is just a visibility, okay? Now this is an important one. They're still gonna play back, and only you cannot see them. And it's pretty handy for just focusing on certain instruments, all right? And then after this, you get to this panel, which is Cubase's main spot for doing things, where your tracks are. And if you want to add a track here, you can just do right click, add audio track or different tracks, which I'll cover later. And on the right side, we have this right zone, which is also pretty fun. Let's see, I'm gonna click on the VSTI here. So this is basically a list of everything you have on the left on your tracks, okay? So I have two instruments added here. As you can see, the icon is instrument track. This one is also an instrument track. And the instruments are also added here. So I have this one and I have this one. And notice that the name is not changed. So this is I changed the name of the track, but the name of my instrument is still the same, okay? So there are two different things. This is the name of the instrument that is being used. And you can also add instruments from here. So it works the same if you do right click and add instruments, all right? And if we go to the right, we have our media bay. I'm gonna click back here so you can see. It's basically a full library of your samples, of your VST instruments. For example, if I click VST instruments, you're gonna see the library that I have here, all right? And then you can also add stuff. You can just click, drag and drop to add instruments or whatever you want. And then we have the control room, which I told you in the first video. And you might wondering why I have two of these is because one is for my headphones and one is for my speakers, so I can control them individually. For example, if I want to check a mix, I just put my headphones on and then I reduce the volume of the speakers. Okay, and then we have a nice and simple meter here, which gives you a visual representation of the loudness of your score. Oh, sorry, your your music, and it works very nice and simple. You can see here. All right, and then we can go down here. This is the transport bar. So remember we had 3 bars, and I'm like making divisions for you so it's easier to remember. It's also easier to learn because it looks really complicated. And as I said, this is the 3rd bar here. On the left, you have setups for quantization and your record modes, and for example, the automatic MIDI record quantization, which you just, whatever you play, it's gonna quantize it, but we'll go through it later. You have punch in and punch outs. Again, we go later to it, and you have the transport here. So you can also press enter on your keyboard to play. And if you want to activate cycle, this is used for creating a loop. All you can do is just click and drag. And then if you turn it on, you have now a cycle. And what I have to do is you just click here. So the playhead goes here. And then if I just click play, it's going to loop around here. And gradually we have the other things, for example, the retrospective recording. This is also really nice. If you're using Dorico, we have the same thing there, and it's for situations where you record something. Oh, sorry, you actually don't record something, but you're playing it, but then you're like, whoa, crap, I really like that. And when you press this, it's going to give you what you played. So it's basically keeping stuff in its memory like a good friend. Yeah, and then you have your tempo, and you have a time display here, and you can also adjust your tempo here. For example, I do 60 and tempo goes to 60. You have a tap tempo here. If you click on it, it will change your tempo, and you have your metronome stuff here. Okay, let's see. This is to turn on your metronome. I activate it, so when you press play, you're going to hear a click. And this is the count-in for recording. So count-in is where you have, when you want to record something, before that, it gives you a pre-count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, starts to record. And finally, we get to a tiny bit more complicated thing. Honestly, it looks complicated. It really is not. And that is the lower zone. If I just click here, you're going to see that this pops up. And this is a bit similar to Dorico's properties in the lower panel. Well, actually, Dorico looks like this, I think. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's see. We have, in the beginning, we have our mix console, which it gives you a general view of your mixing. And if you press F3, you can also get your mixer, so you don't really have to open the lower panel to access your mixing. And you have an editor here, which is used for editing audio. So if you click on any audio file that you have, it's going to show the audio file there. And you have a drum machine here, which, as you can see, it's not really showing anything right now because no drum machine is selected. But if I select my drum track here, which you can see with this gritty, riggedy stuff here, and also this icon here, you're going to see it's going to swap to a drum track. Okay, and we have the sample control. It works the same if you have a sample track, so it's going to show it here, or you can also add a sample track here. You have your pretty cool and cheating, I see you, chord pads here, which you can add chords. Let me show you. Pretty cool. Yeah. All right. And then we have the MIDI remote here, which also I will explain later. It's about controlling stuff with your MIDI controller, and you have the modulators, which are pretty cool, and a new feature in Cubase 14, which you can add some modulation to your MIDI or your audio or basically anything in Cubase. And well, yeah, that was a long one, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be exploring everything in Cubase, and hopefully see you in the next video. Yeah, take care and bye bye.